What's up, guys? Rambir with the burrito diet and the peaceful fat loss system. So, one thing that I noticed that a lot of people get stuck with is they're able to lose some fat while working out really hard. So, for example, this is a common story, like a person has time because maybe they're a little bit younger or they don't have a lot going on at the moment, and they start working out 2 times a day, and they're not really eating. They can kind of force themselves to stop eating a bunch of junk, or do the old starve yourself, eat bland foods, and lose some weight. But what they find inevitably is that it takes so much to be able to lose fat that way, that they definitely, as soon as anything happens in life, they're not able to keep that up. Like, it's just not going to happen. Which is why so many people, like the overweight and obese population in America is over 74% now. So and on top of that, at any given time, half the population is trying some sort of diet. So the thing that's the problem here is that they don't really understand what is the mechanism of fat loss, rather than have all these like emotional viewpoints and opinions and confusion. Like, observation can lead you to the truth, and so then you can understand like what is the mechanism of fat loss. And so we know what that is, which is why there are people who are losing fat eating burritos, tacos, burgers, fries, like it's possible. Then it's just a matter of learning that. So this is what I do. Like, literally, I coach people on how to do this peacefully and enjoyably, and what can take decades of trial and error. If you even keep doing it, you can condense it down to 6 months, and it doesn't take that long to learn the skills and then also get the results. Like, I've had people lose 30, 40, 50 pounds in 6 months. And on top of that, they now have learned the skill to create anti-fragile fat loss. Meaning, there's no situation in life where they will not be able to either continue to lose fat or keep the fat off. Whereas for most people, they need 100 situations to go right for them to lose fat. They need enough time to do 2 workouts. They need enough time to do 5 hours of meal prep. All these crazy things, that's fragile fat loss. And so the skills that you need are the ones that are based on the physics of fat loss, which you can go back. I posted my, peaceful fat loss or peaceful abs project lessons on my YouTube. You need the physics of fat loss, and then you need the psychology of fat loss, right? Because if you are mentally and emotionally disturbed, you won't be able to execute on the physics, okay? So the psychology of fat loss sits on top of the physics of fat loss, but you need both. And so anyways, I just wanted to share, you want to go about it in a way that's certain, and that you have clarity and certainty, okay? And because I was in the same place. Like, the first time I ever actually got results was back in like 2008 or 2009 when I started doing CrossFit. Come to find out, like, I can look back, the reason I got ripped for the first time in my life after being skinny fat for 20 plus years of my life was because I was doing a lot of activity and my calories were low, not because I was counting calories at that time, because I didn't know. I actually did believe in calories, right? So everybody starts from zero. But I believed that carbs would make you fat, so I just ate meat and vegetables, and my vegetables consisted of like lettuce and tomatoes. But point is, looking back, I'm like, oh, I reduced my calories significantly because I was just eating low calorie foods like meat and vegetables. And so, of course, I'm going to get lean. But at that moment, I didn't actually know. So there would be periods where I would overconsume calories, not knowing. And then I would be like, oh man, why is it not working? And then I would get into that mind frame of like, I gotta do more workouts. What other workouts can I do? Why is this workout not working? Oh my God, like what's wrong with my diet? Why is it not working? And so I had achieved the results, but I didn't have control of the results, and I didn't know why it was happening. That didn't happen till like 2013 when I first hired my first coach. Like, at that moment, I learned, and that decision was the doorway to now peaceful fat loss. That decision was the doorway into all of the progress and gains that I made over the last 15 years or whatever. But it would not have happened if I had kept trying to figure it out on my own. And yeah, I mean, you can, but most people don't have the bandwidth to do that. Or the necessary skill sets to experiment enough and be objective in the experimentation. Like, they just don't have that. Like, we have a lot of stuff going on. So that's why, every successful person that I know who's permanently achieved fat loss, they always have a coach. And at least if you're beginning and starting out, like, you have to get you can, like I said, you can take decades to trial and error, or you can take all that learning and that time, condense it down to 6 months, and now not only will you have the results you want and the skills you want that you need for anti-fragile fat loss, but then instead of 10 years of trial and error, you'll get to enjoy the next 9.5 years with that body. And I gotta tell you, man, like, it feels good being lean, being ripped, having abs. You don't necessarily need to get that lean, but I'll tell you what, as someone who's been on all sides of it, better than anything else. Like, it feels good. So don't let all these people, like, fool you into saying, no, it's not that great. No, it is pretty great. And like I said, do you need to get there? No, you don't. Most people would have a great life if they can just get down to, an appropriate amount of body fat where they're not, they can fit into clothes comfortably. They don't need to be shredded. But as someone who has had that experience and for a very long time and had the opposite experience, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun way to move about in the world.